buy the dip on Matt Mervis. But before we dive in, if you're into baseball or fantasy baseball, hit the subscribe button. If people are overreacting to Eric Hosmer signing, let them, because Hosmer is not going to factor long-term or even that short-term for this team. Sure, they signed Hosmer. They went out of their way to get him, but that was to address depth, in my opinion. Matt Mervis is still very much the guy that's going to get the opportunity to start for this team day one at first base or DH or both. He might alternate between the two. Hosmer allows them to have depth and the opportunity to wait on Mervis if he doesn't show out in spring. I still very much believe this is Mervis's job to lose. Hosmer is no more than a depth play. It is not a block of Mervis. What Eric Hosmer brings to the Cubs is technically an above average bat. 2019 was the last time we saw Hosmer post a WRC plus under 100. Not to mention, he actually has really solid plate discipline, great contact skills. The issue is he's a ground ball merchant. He just puts everything on the ground, and that's what limits his potential. We saw the one time he raised that launch angle was the one time we saw success, but it was a short-lived success in 2020. And if he fixes that launch angle again, sure, we might see a resurgence, but I wouldn't bank on it. He's 33 years old, and he's shown to be who he is. Where this makes sense is depth for the Cubs. The Cubs needed first base depth. All they had was Patrick Wisdom, who can play there, but we know he can crush lefties, so this could just be a platoon situation. Or they had Bellinger, who they're not going to take out of center field because that's part of his allure, is that glove in center field. But there's little doubt in my mind that Matt Mervis is the first baseman unless he proves otherwise. They aren't going to limit him for Eric Hosmer. If you look at Matt Mervis' profile, there's actually a lot to like here. It's very reminiscent of Anthony Rizzo that the Cubs had once upon a time. There's great plate discipline that only improved when he moved up to AAA last year. There's great power there, and he likes to pull the ball a ton. So the power will play no matter what, and he's really good at keeping the ball off the ground. That ground ball rate is sub 40%. So considering Mervis' approach in terms of pulling the ball, in terms of hitting the ball in the air, and lacking those ground balls, that should help the power play up at the pro level as well. At both stops last year, we saw elite ISO numbers from Mervis. Not to mention the home runs were there. The power was not a fluke. It is here to stay. That plate approach, also something that should translate rather well to the major league level. I think Mervis is a great sleeper in fantasy drafts, but overall, just Cubs fans in general, be happy and be excited for this kid's bat. People are overreacting to the Hosmer signing, thinking it's going to make a difference. I think it makes zero difference to Matt Mervis. All systems go for him, in my opinion, and buy the dip if there is one in fantasy. I appreciate you checking out this video. Check out this video right here. This is the one that YouTube thinks you should be watching next. But otherwise, until next time, we'll talk soon.